this is the summary of your adrenal gland hormones, and this is in your book, so you don't have to copy it. You want to remember that there are three. So there's an adrenal cortex. So there's a cortex, and there's a medulla in the middle, right? So for the cortex, you have three layers: zona glomerulosa, fasciculata, and reticularis. Glomerulosa, fasciculata, and reticularis. And then you have your hormones, which are mineralocorticoids, represented by aldosterone. In the zona fasciculata, you have glucocorticoids, represented by cortisol. And then in your zona reticularis, you have androgens, mainly DHEA. And last week we discussed all the functions, right? So you want to take note of the principal actions, like what do they do exactly? Do they increase blood pressure, diba? And how will they do that? What are the exact functions of that hormone? And then think about the function if you have an excess of the hormone and then if you have a deficiency. So this is for me, the most probably structural way to approach studying the hormones. Kasi when you have a disease, it's a disruption in homeostasis. So it's either an excess or a deficiency. Diba? So if you trace it back, if you now look at the patient, because next term, it's all about diagnosis. So we're going to have the symptoms, and then you have to trace it backward to your physiology and your pathophysiology. So knowing the functions, you will know the normal, which is no symptoms. But if they have a particular symptom, you have to think of, is this an excess of a hormone or a deficiency of a hormone? And as we've gone through each of them, you know now that every hormone has a specific function. Diba? And in the end, you just have to study each of them. Okay. So this is also the summary of your ovarian and testicular hormones. You can read that naman. Now let's go to pancreas. Wait lang. Okay. So your pancreas is in your abdomen, and it's actually a little behind the stomach. In this illustration, your stomach is here. And can you see? This is your stomach. Kasi this is your esophagus. And it goes down to your stomach. And your pancreas is behind the stomach. So this is your pancreas. It's behind the stomach, pancreas, and it's under the liver. Well, the stomach is under the liver. And the illustration here, the goal of the illustration here is to show you that it's related to the biliary tree. This is your biliary tree. Yan. So you have your liver, you have your bile ducts from the liver, you have your gallbladder, Which organ makes the bile? Which organ produces the bile?
Is it the gallbladder, Doc?
Is it?
It's
It's
the
the,
liver.
Rhea said, yes, Gabby and Rhea, it's the liver. The liver makes the bile. Okay? It goes down, and yes, tinanong yan ng student, sabi, ba't ganun? Paano siya pupunta doon? Oo, babaliktad siya. Yes, basta pupunta siya sa gallbladder. The bile from the liver will go to the gallbladder. And the role of the gallbladder is to store it. It's going to store it. So we'll go to gastrointestinal fission in a little bit, but the reason is when you have food in your stomach, right, it goes down into your duodenum. And then when it gets here, if you have fat in your food, in the food that you eat, it's going to stimulate another hormone that will trigger the gallbladder to contract. So squeeze out the bile and it goes down into this common bile duct and out into the duodenum. Duodenum is the first part of your small intestine. So everything meets here, your food, your bile, and your pancreatic enzymes. Kaya may common bile duct dito sa dulo. So you have your pancreatic duct and your cystic duct, kasi cystic duct is from the gallbladder. Then it meets in the common bile duct. It opens into the duodenum. So that's the function. Anyway, that's the digestive function of your pancreas. It secretes digestive enzymes. Pero since we're still in endocrine physiology, the pancreas also has hormones, right? And we said that the pancreas is both an endocrine organ and an exocrine organ. What do we mean by exocrine? Again, we discussed that last week, di ba? What do we mean by exocrine? Or to be more specific, what is the difference between exocrine and endocrine?
The ducts, Doc.
Yes, so which one is the duct?
Endocrine.
Exocrine.
I heard both. Which one?
Exocrine has ducts, endocrine has none.
Is that a question or a sentence?
You'll confirm, Doc.
Gusto ko pag sumagot, confident. Walang question mark sa dulo. Diba? Exocrine gland has ducts. They secrete their hormones or substances into a duct externally. Kaya siya exocrine. So, endocrine secretes the substance in several ways, but basically, it either goes out of the cell to the interstitial space to another cell, or to the interstitial space to the capillary to another part of the body, interstitial space, and then to another cell where it has a receptor for that hormone. Diba? So that's endocrine. Walang duct. O, yun lang. So, this is your pancreas. So just to show you that this is your duct, kaya siya exocrine, and it secretes digestive enzymes from the structures called acini. Acini, plural, or acinus, singular. What is an acini? It's basically a group of cells. Yan, it's a group of cells with something in the middle And that's where your enzyme or substance is produced, and then it opens into the duct. So you have a lot of these acini to the duct, and eventually, when it's needed, it will go into the duodenum for additional breakdown of, in particular, let's say your proteins and your fats. Pwede din carbs. So basically, your food. And then, your endocrine portion naman, are these islands. Yeah, they're a group of cells which secrete particular hormones. So that's why your pancreas is both an exocrine gland and an endocrine gland. Exam ready na yan by next week. Wish. You know, hindi ko alam kung mas mahirap med school o dito eh. Kasi kami, we expected to digest it today. So, mas magaling kayo. Okay. This is showing you the blood supply. I will not ask you the blood supply. Pero just, so yan, your pancreas and your spleen, they are neighbors. And then your pancreas is parang nestled in this compartment in the C loop of the duodenum. So it's like a perfect spot for it to stay. And that's what makes it efficient for delivering the digestive enzymes. Kasi anatomically, they are all together. Pero the spleen is not involved in digestion. But just so you know, it's there. Iba kasi yung spleen in TCM. Okay. So these are your this is an islet. Remember the islet? So it's a group of cells that contains cells, and there are different cells. So these are what can be asked in the exam, diba? There are 4 different cells. The alpha cell, the beta cell, delta cell, and the F cell. So the alpha cell secretes glucagon. The beta cell secretes insulin. Your favorite somatostatin. Where did we meet this? Meron ding other name, si somatostatin, di ba? Tingnan nyo sa table. Baka lumabas. The F cell secretes pancreatic polypeptide. So, they made like a color distinction for it so that you can see which of the cells is most numerous. Tama ba yung term, most numerous? So, sino ba pinakamarami dito? It's still beta cell. Diba? It's still beta cell. Meaning, significance, if anything happens to those cells, and you know that cells are just cells, they just have membranes, nucleus, and whatever's inside. If you destroy them for whatever reason, they will stop functioning. Right? So let's say a patient develops pancreatitis because it's a pancreas cell. Pancreatitis, what happens there? There's inflammation, or the common bile duct gets obstructed, let's say by a stone, or for whatever reason, and then all the digestive enzymes get stuck there. They go back into the pancreas, and then they start digesting the pancreas. So the digestive enzymes will digest itself, the pancreas itself, and it will have inflammation. And then eventually, if you don't treat it or you don't remove the obstruction, it will just continue to become necrotic. Next term, you'll understand what necrosis is. In Tagalog, it's nabubulok. It's not living tissue anymore. So that's pancreatitis. That's why it's rapid and high risk. Gagaling naman yung iba, pero yung iba, if treated late, it's a mortality. Another condition that can cause destruction of the cells of the pancreas is injury. Pwedeng alcohol, pwedeng traumatic injury, diba? Like nasuntok sa tiyan, ganyan. You can also have injury to your pancreas, destruction of the cells. If they recover, it's good. But sometimes the cells, like the beta cells are the most numerous, they get affected. So patients who may recover from any kind of pancreatic injury may have less beta cells. And then they develop decreased insulin levels, and then they can become diabetic type 1. Okay? So that's the significance. Yan. Okay. Yeah. So here's the answers. I think you can read it naman, but I'll make it bigger. So it says here, the alpha cell produces glucagon and makes up approximately 20% of each islet. What does glucagon do? Glucagon makes your blood glucose level higher. Kasi what's the stimulus? If your glucose is low, it will stimulate the release of glucagon to increase your blood glucose. So pag gutom na kayo, later, by lunchtime, mag-activate na yung glucagon mo. The beta cell is 75% of each islet, so it's the most numerous. It produces insulin, and insulin makes the blood glucose level go down, right? Okay, later na lang yung details. The delta cell is only 4%. It secretes somatostatin. It's a peptide hormone, meaning a protein hormone. Remember that somatostatin is also released by the hypothalamus as what's GHIH. H is hormone, I is what? Kasi hypothalamus, diba? So it's a regulatory. Sorry? Hormone? I didn't hear it. Can you repeat?
Inhibiting.
Yes! Thank you. Kasi either inhibiting lang siya or releasing. Oo, tama. So inhibiting. GH is?
Growth hormone.
Growth hormone.
Pwede na kayo mag-exam. Today na lang. So like, no. Okay? Very good. The stomach and intestines also secrete it, somatostatin. And somatostatin has an effect in protecting your stomach lining, actually. So patients who have ulcers, we give a medication na somatostatin to protect the lining. Kasi pag butas na yun, pag may ulcer, kulang na sila sa somatostatin. It is an inhibiting hormone, di ba? Kasi nga IH. And the somatostatin from the pancreas inhibits the release of both glucagon and insulin. So, it's the regulator of glucagon and insulin. Kasi nga, homeostasis. So, we don't secrete too much glucagon or insulin. The F cell is the least. It secretes pancreatic polypeptide hormone, which plays a role in appetite and regulating the exocrine and endocrine secretions. This is your summary, which is also in the book. So you can read that. So let's look at the negative feedback. Negative feedback regulation of the secretion of glucagon and insulin. So when you have low blood glucose, it stimulates the release of glucagon. Or if you have high blood glucose, it stimulates the release of insulin. So let's say number 1, your blood glucose is low, or if you call it hypoglycemia, it stimulates what? Alpha cells to secrete glucagon. Glucagon will act on the liver cells. And what does it do? The liver kasi has storage. It stores glucose in the form of glycogen. So glycogen is the storage form of glucose. Why is it storage? Kasi it looks like a tree. Mga branch siya. Ganyan. So yun yung mga glucose. But it's all connected to each other in the liver. So what happens is, it's going to break down all of the connections para to release glucose as individual molecules. So that's the conversion of the glycogen into glucose. And it forms glucose also from lactic acid and certain amino acids. Kasi protein is CHON, tapos carbohydrate is CHO. So tatanggalin lang nila yung N from the protein to make carbohydrates. So glucose is released by liver cells and goes to the blood. Blood glucose goes higher to normal levels. But if the blood glucose continues to go higher than normal, it will inhibit the release of glucagon. Number 5, if you have high glucose in the blood called hyperglycemia, now it stimulates beta cells to secrete insulin. And what does insulin do? It puts the glucose into the cell. So if you have the bloodstream and then you have a cell, you have, diba? So this is your glucose. You actually have receptors, glucose receptors in the cell. And to keep it simple, the presence of insulin will open or activate the receptor to accept your glucose, to put the glucose inside the cell. That's my simplest explanation. Without the insulin, it's not going to enter the cell, so the glucose will stay in the blood. And that's your basic explanation of diabetes. So what happens in diabetes is the glucose stays. Ooh, what's that? What's that mean? Ooh, what's that? Let's do that. Ako ba yun? May ibon eh. Tapos may feedback. Sandali ah. That's all. Hindi ko sila nakita. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Thank you. Okay. So, in diabetes, ulitin natin. So, bloodstream, cell, yan. You have a receptor. This is your glucose. So, your glucose in the blood needs to enter the cell. But if you don't have insulin, it's not going to enter the cell. It's going to stay in the blood. So, you eat more, stays more in the blood, Tataas yung blood sugar, diba? And then the paradox is the cell is starving. So there's no glucose in the cell. That's why they pull a different source of nutrition. Yun yung ketosis. They get it from another source. Yung ketone bodies, ganyan. They convert it to free fatty acids to convert into glucose. So yun yung mga nangyayari. In simple terms, that's what happens if you have very little insulin or no insulin at all, and you put a lot of glucose in the blood. The cell is going to send a signal to the brain that I don't have any glucose, diba? So tataasan niya palalo yung glucose sa blood, kukuha pa siya ng ibang stores, gagawin niyang glucose, so it perpetuates. And the problem is it's not entering the cell because of the lack of insulin. So the job of insulin is to allow glucose to enter into the cell. Accelerate facilitated diffusion. Diba? Kasi you need a protein channel to put the insulin inside the cell, to transport the glucose inside the cell. And you want to speed the conversion of glucose into glycogen storage, increase uptake of amino acid, and increase protein synthesis and speed the synthesis of fatty acids. So, blood glucose level will fall in the blood, diba? Kasi it went into the cell na. Yun. It didn't really decrease from the body. It just transferred in compartment. So, it's not in the blood anymore. And then, if blood glucose continues to fall, hypoglycemia inhibits the release of insulin. So, the two mechanisms just alternate depending on the glucose level in your blood. So, our goal is to keep our glucose level constant or with less spikes as possible, which is why you just eat a regulated amount of food rather than dump it, diba? Masarap kasi mag-buffet, ganun. That creates a spike eh. Yon. Siguro once, pero don't do it every day kasi you're going to mess up the system. Okay. Okay, so these are your hormones produced by other organs and tissues that contain endocrine cells, gastrointestinal tract, placenta, kidneys, heart, adipose tissue. Yan. Okay. So we're going to meet these guys in a little while. Placenta, of course, it has hormones. Kidneys, you already know renin, calcitriol, erythropoietin. Yes, we met erythropoietin na, di ba? And then ANP, you already know ANP. And leptin, this is your appetite suppressor. Sino yung kabaliktaran niya? The one who makes you hungry. Si ghrelin.
Ghrelin.
Wow, bakit alam niyo yan? Diet kayo.
Sa site din, Doc. Sa
Ah,
gut. tsaka
talaga?
sa-
Oh, di ba? Ito yung hangry. Yung humihangry. So anyway, leptin and ghrelin. Okay. Okay na yan. Huwag na muna yan. Okay, that's the end of endocrine. Yay, congratulations. May singit pa. Okay, change slide muna. So if you need to